All right, it's 11 o'clock. Could I have everybody please line up, color belts along the side, black belts along the center side.
How are you, bud? Good. Let's go over. Let's go this way. You just set this down somewhere up there. And then let's move this way. Maybe? Where am I going?
All right, we don't have our flag here today. I asked Concordia when they'd be getting it. He said they'd look into it. But if everybody could please stand, remove your hats, and we have a guest singer today. Mr. White will lead us with our national anthem.
Please stand. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose but stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
That's surprisingly really good.
Yes, it was.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out. This is a great event for an Indiana State Championship. We talked about that a couple of years ago. We've talked about it for years and years and years, but we have the TKA that has their banquet on February 24th, I believe, and they're going to say that here is our TKA state champion. The PKC is going to have their banquet, I believe, in March, and they're going to say here is the PKC state champion. And our Lions Karate Circuit is going to have our banquet on February 3rd. Please pre-register by January 19th. And we're going to say, here's our Lions Karate Indiana State Champion. And this is an opportunity for all the state champions, or the top 5, because some people, maybe they didn't attend enough tournaments, but hey, I'm good enough to be first. I just didn't go to enough tournaments. That's why we opened it up to the top 5, are here to compete for a true Indiana State Champion. I want to go over the, actually, can I have any of the past winners from last year? Could you guys step out, maybe 3 giant steps, so we could recognize you guys for previous winners? All right, let's give them a hand. Good job, guys. All right, you guys get back in line. Those are the people to beat this year, right?
You didn't get one.
Those are the people to beat this year. I want to go over the rules. We have some people that are new to this tournament, new to our type of tournaments, and so we're using our Lions Karate Circuit rules and divisions. We've explained that a little bit about how the PKC and TKA doesn't have an intermediate division, so those 4th, 5th, and 6th Qs, or 4th, 5th, and 6th GUPs, sometimes they get bumped into advanced or brought down into novice. And we have a special group for those intermediates. So when you checked in, you got a wristband where we have a novice wristband and an intermediate and advanced. When we get to the ring, the center judge is going to say, what color do we have? It's going to say blue wristbands on this side. We got yellow wristbands over on this side and red wristbands over on the other side. So that separates you guys out, helps for the judges. And then what are the judges looking for? We're going to start with empty hand forms. We're going to start with forms. And the judges are looking for, on the paper it says consistent stances. But what it really is, it says proper stances, but it really is consistent stances. Because how many of you, your instructors teach all toes facing the front on a front stance? All right, go ahead and put your hands down. How many of you have your instructor teach that your back foot's off at an angle in a front stance? All right, so we have some of each here. How about instructors teach high and tight backhand? How many of that? Good. And then how many teach down on the belly? Yeah. So if an instructor up here as a judge was saying, ooh, I teach high and tight, that Lions student had their hand on their belt the whole time. Wrong. No, that's not what the judges are doing. They're looking for consistency. And I use my students as examples, because parents, if you've watched at home, other black belts who've seen it, and we've talked about it many times, the hands will drift forward sometimes, or the high and tight will drift down. The front stance, the back foot will slide. So the judges are looking for consistent stances. They're also looking for power, focus, practical application of technique. Obviously, a high punch doesn't go way up here, or center punch doesn't go in front of your shoulder. Things that your instructors have told you before, but these judges are looking for that as well. And then it's the same thing when it comes to weapons. Proper strikes, proper blocks, proper this, proper that. It has to be practical, so you're not going to do a forward strike and hit somebody way up there. We have some of our students that have done that, and we correct them. Hey, you're hitting somebody in the head. Let's make sure your strike is head height. If you have to start over, and you get a second try, should you beat somebody that did it in one try? No.
Yeah.
No. I like it. So I'll use Mr. Witherspoon as my example. Mr. Witherspoon and I compete, and I do okay on my form, but I probably could have done it better. Maybe I missed one of my Tampa flips, and it wasn't as clean. And let's say he runs his bow form, and in the middle of it, he forgets it and says, oh, can I try again? And if he tries again and beats me, well, then I want to go up to the judges and say, hey, I kind of missed that one twirl on my Tampa flip. Can I try 2 times since he tried 2 times? And then we're going to have everybody trying 2 times if we start allowing that and letting the person that tried 2 times end up winning. So if you need to do it again, try it again. You can do it just for your own sense of mind, but let's just make it through first time. So how many of you know all the Paul Gay forms? Judges know all the Paul Gay forms. Couple. So, example, my students, these guys don't know all the forms. So you can run it however you want to run it. If you mess up, keep going. They don't know that it's supposed to be low knife, double outside block kick, double punch if you only do 1 punch. And that's an example for my students. It's the same for any of your forms. The judges don't know all your forms. And actually, even if one of my students messes up and they have Mr. Robinson in there, Mr. Robinson is judging based on what he sees. If you mess up on one side and do it the same on the other side, it looks symmetrical, you did the same, there's no showing at all that you messed up. Well, he's not taking off any score because, oh, that's how I run my form. No, it's how you do your form. There's so many different ways to do some of the forms that you guys run. You might see Basai Dai ran one way from one student, then you see Basai Dai run another way from another student from a different school, and then a different way from a different school. And they're not judging you based on how they are supposed to, how they want to do it at their school. They're basing it on what they see. When it comes to sparring, that's where some of the differences come into the rules. Sparring, we go first one 5 points or a 2-minute time limit, or if there's a 3-0 or 4-1 or 3-point lead, then it's also match is over. So target areas, groin to the head, no face. Those coming from the PKC and TKA, this will be a little different. There's no face contact for colored belts or even junior black belts. No face contact. You can hit to the side of the head, the top of the head, the very front, the back. Make it a clean technique. There's going to be taller 10-year-olds that are sparring against shorter 9-year-olds, and you parents, you're going to see it. They're just going to come up and go like that. Just knock them on the head. Knock, knock, knock. No instructor up here teaches knocking on the head. So there won't be a point called for that. The student will probably say, well, I get a point called for back in class. No. And the judge will say it has to be out and back. Out and back. Make it a technique. This is supposed to be the best of the best. There should be some good quality techniques. We use a 3-foot in rule. Those that go to the PKC, once you step on the line, you're out and the other person gets a point. For us, as long as you have 1 foot on the mat, you can score on them and they can score on you. If a competitor grabs, you can grab their front hand and strike, follow it up with the technique. Grab their kick. Don't trap their roundhouse kick against your ribs, showing the judges that they threw a good technique to a good target area. That will result in a point for them. Trap it with your arm underneath. Follow it up with, I'd say, a groin kick or maybe a punch. If a competitor falls down, the judge will count to 3. The person down can score up. The person up can score down. We're still looking for good control. Can't come up and punt their head off. You like that down there? You thinking of ideas of how to fight your brother at home? Don't do that. Don't do that. Cheering is encouraged. Parents, go Timmy, go Susie. Last tournament, we had some black belts judging, or coaching. We addressed that in our black belt meeting today. Once in a while, we get some parents that will say, block your head, block your head. No coaching. No coaching. If your son or daughter is getting hit in the head 3 times in a row, hopefully they learn to not like that. If I sat over here and told my son how to spar, hey, that person's doing this. I analyze sparring way too much to begin with, so I could really help out, but I want to see what my son knows. I want to see what my students know. I can help all the students. Hey, they're doing this, they're doing this. Like, this is the defense for that. But we want to see what the students can do. So please don't coach. Please don't tell your student, hey, do this, do this, do this. Let's see what your student can do. There's a whole list of tournaments up there for 2024 that I hope you take flyers to, or flyers from, and go to them. So Mr. Webster holds TKA tournaments. That's on June 22nd and October 19th. Mr. Caudell's holding a Chambara tournament. Nearly everybody loves Chambara. Mr. Rammel on April 27th is holding a tournament over, for those of us in Indiana, the road travels to Ohio. The road travels to Ohio. He makes it over here each time, so it must be okay. So we're allowed to go to Ohio for tournaments. Still up in the air about a Illinois tournament, possibly, but that's not until October, but plenty of time. But take some of those flyers, get out there and go to compete against other competitors. Another thing I need to talk about, good techniques. Good techniques, kind of talked about that a little bit. Make it a good technique, out and back, not sloppy. I have something to, your judges today, your instructors and judges, they didn't have to be here. They could easily say, hey, it's snowing outside, road's bad. We got 2.5-hour drives, we've got 3-hour drives, but they came out to not only support this tournament, but support you. So I picked up some nice little trophies. It says, thank you for being awesome. So for all of our black belts, before you leave, make sure to get a thank you for being awesome trophy. And I heard that we had, oh yes, thank your black belts, thank your black belts. I guess the song said there's something for me.
Hi everybody. So I'm supporting Webster's today. So just so y'all know, my dojo, I owe my students 100 push-ups. Oh man, now you're killing me.
200!
I didn't bring my feed today, it's still in the dryer. I'm traveling here, CJ and I, you guys know my son CJ. We had to make a pit stop and he saw something, he goes, Mr. Hanford would love this. So yeah, we wanted to go ahead and give this to him. I'll go ahead and let him unwrap it and give it to Mr. Hanford. It's kind of cool. Support the Lions Karate with a Lions cane.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, everybody. Now we've got to have this around him at every tournament, right?
We're not saying anything.
This is my new weapon. I think I have more gray hair than you. You're trying to catch up to me.
I dyed mine. Wow.
You can't tell.
Nice.
All right, I can get used to this. Where's Mr. Robinson at? What's it like? I gotta watch it around Mr. Robinson. He'll try to snatch it. All right, so we have our rings all labeled. The judges are knowing. The judges know where they need to go. You guys know where you need to go. Let's have a great day, everybody. Everybody, attention! And bow. Let the tournament begin.